And let me start you off with a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Solvency is maintained by means of a national debt. On the principle, if you will not lend me the money, how can I pay you? Do you get the point? The point is if I don't keep borrowing money, then how am I going to pay off the people that gave me the money originally? Now, if we live our lives that way, our families, our small businesses, we get shut down. We get foreclosed upon, right? We go bankrupt. And the reality is if you or I or our small businesses were to run our affairs like the US government has been, or like many countries throughout the world lately, we're already shut down. We're already foreclosed upon. We're already living in our parents' basement. We are at about 14 trillion in debt as far as where we're existing right now in the United States. 14 trillion that is borrowed money that we just have to pay interest on. The way we've set things up, we're on our way to $20 trillion in debt really quick. Now, I'm sorry, but you can't grow your way out of that. You see, we were at a place only 10 years ago where we're paying about 8% of the national budget to interest. We're working our way towards 40% of our national gross revenues going towards interest payments, just interest payments. Now, if I'm running a business and I have a great idea, I go out and I borrow money to fund that idea today so that I can realize the revenues over time. I need money to implement that idea. And if I was going to pay 8% of my revenues against that debt, that's okay. Because the idea is so good, I can maybe generate 20-25% growth. I'll forego that 8% charge. But 40%? Would anybody in a business have a 40% interest obligation? Would we ever leverage our own lives that much? We've seen the last year, 2 years, a lot of us have had to come to this really tough realization. We've had to downsize. We've had to take a hit on our overextended house. We've had to shut down a small business and move on to the next thing, get a job paying a little bit less. But the government seems to be able to just print more money or borrow more money or, as the case might be, raise taxes more. So you can only get revenue from 3 places. You borrow it, right? You tax it, or you print it. And at one point here, we're living so beyond our means that there's going to be a crash. There's going to be chaos. Who can fund this throughout the world anymore? So again, I just ask us to compare to our own lives, our own families, our own small businesses. If I don't somehow have the ability to monkey with the system, if I don't have the ability to prolong the debt leverage, then I go in the tank. It just seems that the government has the ability to play the game another year, another 2 years. Big business can play the game a little bit longer. But ultimately, you got to pay the piper. And my fear is that we're a bunch of lemmings all running towards a cliff, and we're all going to go over this cliff. What are you going to grasp for as you're going over this cliff? Because can we collectively grow our way out of this kind of debt? I want to leave you with one other quote, and this comes from Samuel Johnson. He was an 18th century English writer. He wrote, "Do not accustom yourself to consider debt only as an inconvenience. You will find it a calamity."